Yes, so an anticlimax for the USA team. They were expected to win it. Come on, you can't have Noah Lyles, you can't have Bracey, you talk about Christian Coleman, and then you go out in a race and are upset by the Canadians. It's very interesting because the grass has suffered with COVID, he's suffered with injuries, but some way, somehow, every time these things happen to him, he still manages to get a medal. He failed to make the 100-meter final in the individuals, but he comes out and he produces a fantastic anchor leg to push Canada to the gold medal there. Disappointing also for Jamaica, they missed out on the medal. But Team Ghana, they did absolutely well. You saw the last leg from Joseph Paul Amwa. In fact, he ran the fastest anchor leg during the heats, and he was top 5 in the fastest anchor leg in the final also. Fantastic guy, fantastic race, guys.
I was super impressed by Team Ghana. I think I said on the show on Friday that we should just better our time. I wasn't expecting them to qualify third because that was one of the fastest heats. They had USA in their heat. They had, I think, Britain too in their heat. So they did really well to place third. And then in the final, they did extremely well. I think that's the national record now. They placed fifth behind USA, behind Canada, behind Great Britain, and behind Jamaica. So if it looks like with little or no support from our authorities and all that, they've been able to place fifth. On the world stage, it showed that if we support them well and they are given one or two things, they can challenge for honors. And I'm really impressed by what they did with little or no support from the authorities, sadly.
Susu, we talk about performing when it matters most. And you can't really ask anything much from them or anything more from them considering what they put. Their national record in the final. Everybody outran themselves and gave their best. And if you look at who they lost to in the USA, Canada, Jamaica and Great Britain, these are literally the top 4 powerhouses in sprint. So after that, then came Ghana. So Ghana were the best amongst the rest. You look at the South African team that looked very impressive on paper. You look at some others. You look at Japan. I don't think Japan even made the final. You look at France, who were DQ'd at the end, but Ghana still passed them basically. No, but it was really impressive.
It is very, and like you said, the countries that beat them, it's like if you go to the World Cup and you lose to Brazil. Yeah. There's no shame in that because they are Brazil, you know. So losing to these countries in a relay like this, it just shows that our relay team, there's a lot of potential. They've done very well. Now, I want to hope to see that some of this relay power, you know, they can bring to the individuals and make a name for each of themselves because they've done so well. I'm so proud of them. I also want to give a special shout out to my second country, Canada, you know. So I'm very happy for them, you know. So, but yeah, it's really, honestly, the Ghanaians have tried. We knew that the relay was where we could make a splash, and I say even though we didn't medal, we made a splash. It was a very impressive performance, and there's nothing to be ashamed of.
You know what? Look, I told myself I'll come and see it on the show. You know what annoyed me? If you watch the race, and I think the replay will capture it. If you watch the race, Canada first, they put USA second, and then they put Ghana third. So we were all jubilating because, yes, we could see that we didn't finish third. But no, you see, the complexities of the relays, you don't know who was DQ'd, you don't know what happened. Exactly. But if you can watch it in the bottom left corner, you see it come up. So they put Canada, they put USA, and then Ghana came. Yeah, so we're all celebrating, only for them to change it and put us in fifth. And this is the second time they are doing this in the at this particular championship. Because that's the same thing that happened to Azamati in his heat. They put Azamati in third, only for them to go and do a review and put him in fourth. You can't be playing with this nation like that. You can't be playing with our emotions like that. Because come on, we stayed up. We stayed up 2 a.m. to watch this race. And then we shout and we are jubilating at 2 a.m. We are waking up our neighbors only for the thing to be reviewed and then we are in fifth. World Athletics, be very careful. We don't like this.
We can celebrate fifth. I mean,
no, we can celebrate fifth, but you see, for a country like Ghana, come on, Charlie, you can't tease us with
when was the last
the prospect of a medal
at the World Championships.
I think 2006 or something.
It's been a while. It's been a while. In fact, World, I doubt. I think we'll have to go back. But look, World Athletics, you can't be joking with us like that. Please, next time, the IT guys, make sure you get it right. Just get it right. Because I was screaming at 2 a.m. I woke up people and only for them to go, why are you screaming now? We finished fifth. Meanwhile, the thing came and we finished. We don't like that. But let's move on. Let's talk about the 100-meter, 4x100-meter relay, the women's. It was, of course, America had the hosts in Oregon. They upset Jamaica. Jamaica had the likes of Sherika Jackson. She won the 200 meters. They had Shelley and Fraser Price who won the 100 meters. They had the Olympic champion in Elaine Thompson-Herah. But America, the USA, upset them to win that particular gold medal. T.T. Terry, I bet you, if it was 10 meters more, Sherika Jackson would have closed that gap and probably won. But that's why it's 4x100 meters. That's why it's not 4x120 meters. And she did the job. Terry for the USA, the anchor leg, holding on just by a thread to win gold for USA. But that was a very interesting race.
Really close. It was really close getting to there. And as you said, if the track was extended 10 meters, I think Sherika Jackson would have passed it. But I think USA really they meant business for this athletics championship. They did a clean sweep in, I think, the 100, the 200. So that's for the men's side, and the women's side too, they showed up. So they really meant to put a marker on this, and I'm really impressed. That was a really strong finish.
Considering how Jamaica has tormented them in the previous years. In fact, when I was watching this, what came to mind was, if you know athletics, you remember Lauren Williams. She's the one who dropped the baton in Athens 2004. She dropped the baton again in Beijing 2008. And for USA to beat Jamaica in a relay, you really have to go back in history. Like it doesn't often happen, especially the women who tend to drop their batons almost every time. But thankfully, this time it didn't happen and they won gold. But let's go to my favorite race of this weekend. It was a 400-meter hurdles. It had the Olympic champion in Dalila Muhammad, the world champion, the former world champion in Dalila Muhammad, the Olympic champion in Sydney Mclaughlin, and then the second fastest woman of all time in Femke Ball. The three of them went into that race, and Sydney Mclaughlin, an absolutely brilliant run, smashed the world record, and she's now both world and Olympic champion. Sydney Mclaughlin. And look, just to put things into context, the times before, in fact, if you consider their individual personal best, these are the three fastest women of all time under this, in fact, in this particular event. If you compare their times, it was so close. So for her to absolutely obliterate them the way you saw just shows you how good she is, because the two behind her are second and third fastest women in history. So that was how good she ran. But what concerns me is her demeanor after she wins. The same thing in the Olympics. When she won it, if you caught the race after, you don't know she's the winner. She's just walking around like, okay,
another day in the office.
She should celebrate more.
I like people like that. They make it look easier.
Okay, did you see her face? Like, you smashed the world record and you are just looking at the time and you are looking at the crowd like, okay, what is happening?
Maybe she herself was stunned by the performance. I mean, it's similar to the Van Niekerk world record breaking performance where he ran his own race and the gap was like between earth and heaven. That wide. He just ran his own race and then finished it. And that's a really impressive run. I mean, it's almost a second shot of the record. The gap. Fantastic. And she's like, okay, it's just another day in the office. Let's go.
Maybe if it was closer, I should have celebrated, because it's like, it would have been like a hard race, like if she had just had to just pass the person at the last one, maybe she would be like, but I think it seemed too easy. She was like, okay, we finished. Where are you people? Oh, you are now coming there.
This is crazy. So in a space of a year, we've seen the men's 400-meter hurdle record smashed, and then the women's 400-meter hurdles also smashed. I always ask myself why those who do these events don't do the 400 flat. Because if you compare the records in both, it's just, right now, what Mclaughlin has done is just like a second behind the main 400-meter record. So if she goes the flat, I'm very sure, if you are taking out the hurdles and you are...
It's the running technique for hurdles, because, the jumping, then you have to readjust, jump again to readjust. So running the flats is a bit different. So I think that's why they don't do it. Because I think if your body is trained to do a certain thing, to come to the flats, it might mess you up when you have to go.
But won't the flat be easier?
Yeah, but I'm saying when you have to go back, like switching back and forth might be the problem. Yeah. So you have to, if you are in a situation, maybe go straight to 400 and stop doing the hurdles. Because if you are used to just running the 400 straight, when you get to the hurdles, your muscle memory can kick in and you forget to jump. So it could be a problem.
Let's do the 800-meter final now. The GOAT in this competition or this particular event is David Rudisha of Kenya. He's retired, he's done. But another Kenyan is continuing to raise the flag high. Corey, he won the gold in the men's 800-meter final. From one African to another African, let's go to Amuson. Toby Amuson, Nigerian 100-meter hurdles runner. Now, it was just the heat. The final will take place later tonight. But it was just the heat. But she set a new African record in the heat. 12.40 seconds. Absolutely brilliant. Take a look. Toby Amuson, talk about turning up. just in the heat, and she's already set an African record. But I'm really looking forward to the final because it has my favorite in the Puerto Rico's Jasmine Camacho Queen. Jasmine Camacho Queen. She's the Olympic champion coming up against Amuson, who's been brilliant form this year.
I mean,
it should be a contest.
I mean, that would be a final to watch because if you after 50 or 60 meters, there was no catching her. She was clear of the track. And if there's an Olympic champion in there, you'd want the final to live up to the billing. We don't want to see something like the 400-meter hurdles where there was a huge gap. Let's see some competition so that when they finish their race, they can show some proper expressions. But that was a really impressive run by the Nigerian.
Very impressive.
We should also talk about her not celebrating. If you break an African record, you should also show some.
That's a hit, so
it doesn't matter. You broke it. It's a record.
But see, you can understand it because she's going in to win gold.
Yeah.
So she runs her own race fine. She finishes. She's broken an African record. But if you celebrate now, you're going to lose out to the gold. It's an anticlimax.
African record is a big deal.
Oh, it's a big deal. It's a big.
But it doesn't come with the medal, so
it doesn't. It doesn't. But yeah, the records will always show. But I honestly feel like we'll see another African record in the final because of the form of Jasmine Camacho Queen. I like seeing the name. She's an absolute beast. And if Amuson is going to catch her or beat her, she will have to break another record. Because if you look at Camacho Queen's personal best, it's 12.26.
Oh, that's fast.
That's very fast. That's 0.06 short of the world record, which has stood, I think, since the 70s. So it just shows you how good Camacho Queen is and how much effort Amuson will have to put in if she wants to catch up with that. But let's go to another African. And when you talk about the 5,000 meters in both male, female, you know Kenya and Ethiopia are in the race. And Ethiopian won this time in the women's 5,000 meter final. Gudaf Sege, Ethiopian, winning the women's 5,000 meters. Any surprises there? That an Ethiopian won, East African won it again?
No, at all. But I'm actually super impressed. They are second on the medals table, if I remember. If I'm getting it right, and that's really impressive. But that's a challenge to other African countries. Can we do better? Maybe we may not be blessed with the long distance running and those things, but I think in the sprints, on the track and field, and other things, we can get better. But that's a really impressive run.
Oh, yeah, looking at me.
Oh, no. I think he's right about that. We have the potential in the sprints. I mean, you saw Talu was always 4th, 5th. So there's potential. And like we always say, how much support do we get compared to the Americans and the Jamaicans and that kind of stuff? So if we can make it into we can have 1 or 2 people in the final 8 with minimal support. Let's say we actually put in the effort, we actually build the infrastructure, we can go a long way. So. And if we are speaking genetically, these are our people that are there. We are the same, so we should be able to do something. There's
That's
no
a
difference.
very interesting thing. But
no difference.
today is the last day of the World Athletics Championship. Today is the last day. The events to look forward to, of course, you always know that in these last days, they do the relay. So tonight, you see the 4x4. That's a 4x400 meter relays for both men and women. America looks like, especially in the women. If you look at their 400 meter team and you look at the fact that I think Mclaughlin and Dalila, I always call it Dalila Muhammad will be part of that particular team. So you can tell that the Americans are favorites for that one. And then the 100 meter women's hurdles, that's what I'm personally looking forward to. Yes, I'll close late, but I'll still stay up and watch that one. Amuson versus Jasmine Camacho Queen. Jasmine Camacho Queen, Olympic champion. I want to see that record broken. I'm tired. Some records have stood for too long. 1977 or something like that.
That's longer. I mean,
that's too long.
My parents are not even met.
Guys, we'll take a quick break here.